Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
So, good morning. Welcome to a new session of the European Alliance Against Coronavirus. And today we are going to speak about the construction ecosystem, how to transform it, and how to promote the construction of new sustainable buildings and renovations. And in order to afford that thematic, we will have with us Ocean Pfeiffer Matia, sorry for the pronunciation, Ocean, from DG Grow, and Giuseppe Rossi from the Pole of Innovation Green Home. Thank you for joining us. You know, we split the session always in first the presentation and later the open floor to exchange and contribution from everybody. So you will have your opportunity both to challenge the speakers, but also to open new visions or share with us experiences or proposals. Okay, so without any other introduction, welcome, Ocean. Are you there?
Yes, sorry, I had a little
Okay,
problem.
perfect.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
So
I'm going to give you the presentation rights. You have 10.
perfect. Okay, sorry, my computer is a bit slow this morning.
No problem at all.
Okay, you should see my screen now, I guess.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Now we can see it, but not in full screen yet.
Okay, I will just as soon as okay, I will try to put it in full screen. Is it okay now?
It's perfect. Thank you, Sam.
Okay,
Floor is yours.
very good. Thank you, Antonio. Okay, so good morning. So I'm going to present this morning one initiative, which is a key action of the renovation wave, which is called the Affordable Housing Initiative, and I will present the opportunities it can offer to SMEs and to clusters. So the policy context of this initiative, it has been designed following in the context of the recovery package. As you know, Renovate is one of the 7 flagship that has been chosen by the Commission to concentrate. That has been proposed to member states to be one focus for the investments under the Recovery and Resilience Facility. And following this choice, I would say there was one strategy that was designed by the Commission, which is called the Renovation Wave. It was published in mid-October last year. And this strategy is the ambition is to push to incentivize member states to direct investments toward the renovation of buildings. It has several objectives. So, of course, support the recovery of the construction ecosystem, which is an ecosystem that is mainly composed of SMEs, 95%, and that was hardly hit by the pandemic. This renovation wave is also an opportunity, and it could also deliver on the European Green Deal, because as you know, or as you may know, the buildings are responsible in Europe for 40% of our energy consumption, 36% of our greenhouse gases emissions. This initiative, I mean, we are now discussing the European Pillar of Social Rights, and I think it's important to note that there is 34 million people in energy poverty in Europe, 800,000 social homes that require renovation each year across Europe, and that the investment gap in social and affordable housing is 57 billion per year. There is also a strong focus on having, of course, a greener Europe, a smarter Europe, but also a more social Europe and a closer to citizens Europe under the regional development and cohesion policy objectives. This will be the fifth. There will be these objectives: smarter Europe, greener Europe, social Europe, and Europe closer to citizens will be the focus, the entry point for the direction of the cohesion funds. So in this context, we have designed one initiative that is called the Affordable Housing Initiative. It also is fully aligned with the three focus area of the renovation wave, which is to tackle energy poverty and worst performing buildings. As you know, affordable and social housing are often, I mean, in some countries in Eastern Europe, for example, social and affordable housing are sometimes at the very brink of expiry date, I would say. And another focus area is which is tackled by the Affordable Housing Initiative is, of course, the renovation of public building, including social housing, and also a more general one, which is decarbonization of heating and cooling. So what is the Affordable Housing Initiative? The key objective is to provide support, coordination, and expertise to local industrial partnerships. And I will explain what we call local industrial partnerships that will implement on the ground the renovation projects of social and affordable housing. And the ambition is that the initiative can, at the end, pilot 100 districts, can pilot the renovation of 100 districts. So the approaches that have been chosen for this initiative is a district level approach, that it's not only the renovation of a housing unit per unit or building per building, but that the renovation project it operates at a larger scale, at the neighborhood level, I would say, that can generate economies of scale, that can really transform the entire neighborhoods, and that can facilitate the empowerment of the communities that live there, and that can more easily create business opportunities at the district scale. Another approach is the integrated approach, and it is fully aligned with the key principles of the renovation wave. They are on the slide on the right. So there is six key principles that you can see, and the Affordable Housing Initiative is also aligned in the sense that the renovation of the districts should follow these principles. So affordability, energy efficiency, circularity, but as it is designed as a bottom-up initiative, it is envisaged that some districts may focus on one or two aspects more, I mean, in a deeper way, I would say. For example, if one district, if there is a need at local level to really consult the residents to come up with a renovation that will improve the livability or improve the architectural quality, then it can be one of the focus of this district. And depending on the districts and the local needs, um, they could be so different aspects that are featured. So the pilots, the districts, as I was saying, can combine different technologies, smart energy efficiency solutions, circular renewables, and there is also this, I already mentioned, this strong focus on using and developing what we call human-centered business models that are really focused on the residents' needs, that could promote social innovation and frameworks that could really empower the residents into the renovation process. And there is one common denominator between all the districts, that there is this that some mechanisms, or at least some monitoring, should be done to ensure that the renovated units remain affordable, and that there is this um, this ambition to demonstrate replication potential towards all other districts. That is the key objectives, and how we are thinking to implement them is first to launch a EU level cross-sectoral partnership. Um, so the core of the partnership um, should gather the construction sector, so representatives at EU level of the construction sector. What we call construction sector in very general definition, because it's also about renewable energy, about electronics. It's all the sectors that could really deliver on the renovation of housing, and especially social and affordable housing. And of course also creative industries, because the affordable housing initiative has been built in link also with this new European Bauhaus. Second core partner is the social housing sector, that should gather social housing providers, associations, cooperatives, and more reaching out also to social economy or the social services that usually are built next to social housing, and also the civil society. So representatives at EU level of this sector, and also representatives at EU level, of course, of public authorities. They are key partners in here when we talk about urban planning, urban development. How what this partnership will deliver, it's a direct support to local industrial partnerships. So local industrial partnerships will be created at local level, and will gather basically the same actors that I just mentioned, but operated at local level. And direct support to SMEs. And support for what? Support to access to funding, notably the EU funds under the renovation wave. And as I told you already, the cohesion objectives are very clear. There is a clear flag towards investments in renovation, but of course there are many funds, and it's not easy to know which one will be the most adapted and how to apply. And this is something that the partnership should facilitate for the local actors, facilitate the access to funding. So EU fund, but not only. The ambition is also that private capital could be triggered here. So, and philanthropy or other possibilities. There is also now some experimentations with social and green bonds when it comes to renovations, and that's something that the partnership should really dig into and provide support for local actors. Support also on the technical capacity level. Of course, renovation projects at large scale, at district level, are not always easy to implement. And there is already some good examples around Europe, and that the partnership should be able to direct um, local partnerships towards technical capacity in terms of design standards, but also complex financial setups. We know that it's very critical when it comes to going beyond energy efficiency, that the renovation projects are not only about improving the energy efficiency of the buildings, but are also about improving the livability, improving circularity, improving the living conditions, the access to social services, and etc. Another point on which the partnership should deliver is on identifying and flagging out the regulatory barriers. Barriers or challenges, I would say, in terms notably of public procurement. There is this question of how can we facilitate the integration of social innovation, of framework to empower residents when it comes to public procurement. There is also the issue of state aid that comes quite often, and etc. The partnership should also deliver blueprints of the successful lighthouse project, so renovation project, and how successful examples of local industrial cooperation at a local level between the SMEs, the social housing companies, and the public authorities. It should also deliver channels and support SMEs and the local actors to upskill or reskill when it comes to renovation at district level or even to deep renovation. We've been hearing that there might be some needs in there that SMEs are not always equipped for implementing and for deep renovation, but other skills as well, smart cities or energy, how to build an energy community, how different skills that could also be of relevance here. I would say in terms of second step, there is also a direct support that is foreseen for innovation and experimentation in the lighthouse districts. Innovation and experimentation in the three different aspects: social, environmental, and digital. And there is a strong focus on social aspects as well. So we will support innovation and experimentation to build engagement models for inhabitants, cooperative structures, inclusion of social services. We also support innovation when it comes to going beyond energy efficiency, as I said. So the other aspects of the renovation, so really to go this extra mile when it comes to renovation of social and affordable housing. Support innovation and experimentation also to design or to innovate and experiment technologies that are adapted toward really targeting social and affordable housing, such as we have good examples of, for example, Basic Domotica, or different energy savings tools that could really provide some energy savings on the long run. And of course, in link with the Bauhaus, innovation in the field of aesthetic, creative aspects in renovation. So I think that's it to open for discussion. I want to thank you for your attention, and I stand ready for any question you may have. Thank you.
You are very welcome, Ocean. Wonderful presentation, and you have opened a lot of possibilities and questions that I will sure that will come up after the next speech. But now we will hear one concrete reference from the cluster work. Giuseppe Rossi from the Pole of Innovation Green Home. Are you there, Giuseppe? Giuseppe? Yes?
Yes, yes. Ready? Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes. Should I
Can I
give you the
share?
presentation right?
Yes, please.
Perfect.
Okay. Now let me. Which is the main one? This one?
Now
Or
we are
the other?
seeing
No,
your screen.
no, no.
Yes, but not
Not
you
the
should.
right one. Okay. Let me see. As always.
Okay, now it's not in full screen mode. We are seeing
Okay. How can I change the main screen?
I think that you should go to Impostazioni in the top
The main
menu, the
menu.
second option,
Okay.
Impostazione, and no, just
No.
duplicate the screen. There,
Imposters.
yeah,
Okay.
and duplicate the screen.
Okay. Is this better?
No, as fast.
No.
No, sorry.
Let me just. Okay. Okay. I will do it again. Let me. Sorry.
You could share the other screen if you want.
Okay. Now again.
Now we are seeing the other
Okay.
screen, and you could.
Is
Now
this
it's
right?
perfect.
Okay. Now it's
Perfect.
perfect. Okay. Now.
Grazie mille, Giuseppe.
Thanks to you. Thanks for this opportunity. Well, in fact, I will present a very local initiative in the framework of the general presentation we just had. So the first point is a brief description of our organization, Green Home. We are a pole of innovation, a cluster of companies. We are the key point is that we are a young young organization, 2 years of activities. We are a mix of academic organizations, the 2 regional universities, University of Calabria and University Mediterranean of Reggio Calabria, and 5 SMEs member of the managing body of the Pole of Innovations. And each one is leading in a sector relevant for sustainable building. So it's a sort of reference for different project areas for us. And basically, the key point is that we organize we associate somehow the most part of laboratories, research groups, and rather large number, not very big, but interesting number of more than 80 companies operating in the construction sector somehow in components. So we can be a reference for sustainable building in Calabria, or at least we want to be such reference. We are based in the campus of the University of Calabria, actually, and I'm speaking from our offices. We have a small management team. Basically, the president is an academic person. The CEO is an entrepreneur. I'm the director, an IT background, but large experience in innovation projects, and 2 full-time engineers with specific competencies in, let's say, different areas of sustainable buildings. They are employed full-time. I'm working part-time for the for Green Home. Now, a few words about the regional context we are placed from the point of view of regional innovation policy and the vision we are following. The basic idea is that the region wanted to promote specialized intermediaries with a specific attention to concrete and, let's say, compelling indicators for results. For example, the number of associated companies, the number of delivered services per year. We are monitored on these items, and the obligation to get to be able to raise at least 25% of our revenues from market services. So in this context, the Green Home, let's say, proposal was based on the idea of exploiting local resources to develop a sort of Mediterranean sustainable house, and with a specific attention to open to outward scenario. Our region is typically a region not very involved in national and European international circuits. So we decided to, our idea of entrepreneurial discovery, let's say, of interpreting the smart specialization strategy for sustainable building was rather straightforward. We identified 5 we call them value chains, 5 topics areas, and we tried to deliver services and projects in these areas. I will just mention the titles of those areas. The first one is, in a sense, they are entrepreneurial bet for our companies. The first area is the production of components for buildings, for construction, with hemp and other natural fibers. The second area is related to innovative envelope for building, so for energy saving, multifunctional and innovative facade systems for building requalification. The third one is a specific, very peculiar one. It's waste recovery from demolition to be used for beach nourishment. It's an environmental problem relevant in our region. And the fourth is related to the exploitation of Calabrian wood, which is abundant, but not certified for structural purposes, so for advanced usages. And it's a large, let's say, project program that we are trying to start. And the last one is clearly related to the vast area of smart building solutions for comfort and energy saving, which includes a lot of things, actually. Now, a few words about activities and outcomes that probably are the part that is more related to the topic we are discussing today. So I will start with just a brief overview of the 2 years of activities. Basically, what can I say that is that we were good at doing one thing for our past experience. That is project development, innovation, R&D, and innovation project development. And actually, this was one of our main activities in the first 2 years. So that we delivered, involved our associated companies in a large number of project proposals. But we are now about 30 project proposals. So this the slide says 25, but we keep increasing this activity at European and regional level. With a reasonable success factor. We have one European project funded in the area of internationalization, and 5 regional R&D projects, and a number of other projects still under evaluation. So we are quite successful we believe in this area, but also we are trying to move to more specific and, let's say, professional services. One thing we invested from the beginning was training, with a large number of webinars or seminars, and since last years they became webinars, and a number of courses with professional courses, so with a fee for the participants, with a good results. And the idea of participating to transnational, international activities, to events, virtual and physical events and networks that we are pursuing constantly. Together with this, we delivered a number of very small services. We call them microservices, small studies, small checkup for companies that helped us also to do the other activities. The key topics we are working in the last year and currently is to move training activity to regional and from regional to national level, and to strengthen our internationalization strategy. And we rely on a European project, Sea2Future, to do this better. Deliver innovation voucher for associated companies, and to let's say two working lines related to certification services, specifically for the environmental product declaration, and feasibility studies for all the sort of environmental bonus in the area of in the area of construction, which is an important topic in Italy for, let's say, industrial policy also. I will say a bit more about these activities. So the training activities, well, this is the topics we covered. It covers from domotics, from building information modeling, technology related to urban water management, and other topics related to real estate evaluation and life cycle assessment, radiation protection. So different topics that link companies, demand for innovation to concrete offers. And we were quite, let's say, successful in this in this activity. The second line is this European project for clusters for the city of the future, where different clusters from 6 countries, Bulgaria, Spain, Greece, and Italy. We are missing actually one. With different area of activities from IT to sustainable building to transportation and environment, get together to promote international activities for the associated companies. It's a learning gym actually for us in the area of international activities, and so we expect a lot from this project. The other topic, which is clear, the one directly linked to the current discussion, to the discussion of today, is the idea of promoting environmental labeling for products and services. We actually, this is a topic that is not very common, also in those companies that are in our region, that are, we are based in Calabria, in south of Italy, that also for those companies that try to reach national and European markets. But it's a very relevant issue to characterize products and services. So we spent last year to build our basic competencies on this topic by delivering one concrete complex certification for one of our associated companies. European product declaration is, as you can read here, is a voluntary document describing the environmental impacts of a product or services. And so we, our idea is to be able, after this first, let's say, success case, or at least this first experiment we performed successfully, to become a reference, to be able to further promote within, first of all, within our associated companies, and then to the regional level, the idea of qualified environmental labeling for products and services. In particular, you know, this certification requires a specialized support from specialized support to build the life cycle assessment studies that are needed to identify and describe correctly the production processes and in order to along the whole life cycle, and in order to be successfully examined by a program operator, by the certification authority. We performed a quite complex analysis with a company producing aluminium components for construction in the building sector. So we certified 6, let's say, product lines, including large number of items, about 168 items. It was a long activity, and we spent about let's say 8 months supporting the company. And the company was satisfied with this support. It would have been much more complex to do it without our support. There are no other consultancy company in the region that are able to do such activity. So the company found a local partner. Also, I believe our cost was much lower than a commercial counterpart, and so we think we will proceed along this line of activity as we believe this is important in order to qualify companies' products with the supply, the offer of the companies in the building and construction sector. Actually, companies, a few partners of the company we certified are now asking us to repeat the experience also with them. So it's a good signal. We are positive about this activity, and this will. Yes, I'm going to finish.
Yes, it's good if we give some time for the open dialogue. Thank you very much.
The last thing, it's also, I think, relevant. It's the activity related to the Italian super bonus, 110% of. So the super bonus gives 110% the value of the tax credits that is matured for a number of home energy renovation and seismic retrofit projects in the area of residential building. It's a popular measure, but it's also quite complex to be applied. In January, we had about 3,000 applications and 340 million euro forecast for. But only a limited part of these actions were effectively started, because it's quite complex to coordinate the activities of different companies, different competencies, material, and to certify the entire process. So what we are trying to do in this area is to facilitate local companies, starting from companies associated to Green Home, to be prepared and compliant with the procedures for the 110% incentive, delivering some sort of preliminary feasibility assessment to check if the incentive is applicable in the specific case for the specific building, delivering training, and trying to network in companies to deliver the whole service. This is also, we believe, another activity that is useful for the regional fabric sector, and it will be also will characterize our services in the future. Okay, sorry for being late. So.
Not at all. Thank you to you, grazie mille, Giuseppe. So it's time to open the floor for everybody. I see in the chat two comments, one from Adrian Brown and another from Alan Whiteside. Adrian, would you share with us?
Yeah, sure. So hello, everybody. Good morning from Finland. Yeah, and then thank you, Antonio, for giving me the floor for a moment, and also thank you to Ocean and Giuseppe. Yeah, my comment was just referring briefly regarding the presentation of Ocean, and I think it's a very good idea to aim also for social and affordable housing, because when we are thinking about smart city solutions, sustainable buildings, and other initiatives regarding circular economy, across Europe. So I think very often we perceive that it's linked to office buildings, what's going on in the city centers. And also I think very often it's aimed for rather the wealthy ones. So the rather people who can have some sort of extra capital available to afford for luxury housing. So it's good to have this initiative. And overall, I think that this renovation wave is something that's a really good initiative, because I think we have across Europe a high demand. And I also like that, Ocean, that you put reference on the issue of social and green bonds, because I think it is, when it comes to financing all sort of sustainable buildings across Europe, it's very good to diversify. So to go beyond the idea of just public financing, but also involving the private investors. So, and why not, when the global investment community is so eager and interested in investing into green buildings across the globe? So why not also utilizing this by, for instance, by using financial instruments like social and green bonds? And why not some portfolio managers from New York or Singapore? Why should they not invest into our initiatives and inside the European Union when it comes to, for example, green building clusters, green building housing solutions? So I think these are just a few comments. So, and I very appreciate that this was discussed today morning again. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Adrian. Thanks to you. Ocean, will you comment?
Well, thank you. I guess that was mainly comments, but indeed, I mean, your last point on the private investment, it's really one of the we would like to work more on that, and it's really an objective of the partnership, not only to rely on public funds, but also to find ways to attract private investors indeed.
Yeah, it would be wonderful, Ocean, if you could share your presentation with us,
Sure.
so that way we could
Yes, sure.
publish it in our website, also in the ECCP. I wanted to ask you for more information about how to propose you projects. So how could we address you, or how can we encourage our clusters to propose you initiatives? So I understand that it's difficult because we are speaking at pan-European level, so it's something that will not be immediate. But how can we do that? Just writing to you, or there is any special goal page?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we intend, it's not fully validated yet, because there had been some delay on the MFF. So we are aiming at having a call for proposals. That should, I mean, we are hoping that it will be open sometimes in September already this year, for proposals to be submitted for this EU level partnership. So I think that's already one option. And then once the partnership will be set, and it's very likely that it will be set only in the beginning of 2022, because as you know, it takes so much time to go through the whole process of the call for proposal. But then we will have some opportunities for direct application toward the partnership, for training activities, um, for webinars or conferences on the topic, and also to receive even financial advisory. We are discussing also with the EIB to see whether we can have some support here on the financial advisory front. So I think that if we come later, until then, we have some already some good seminars that are organized. I think the next one is mid-April. I can share with you the details already with the public representative, for example, with Eurocities. so that already a way to know more and to follow up on that. But I think that the real opportunities will come a bit later when the partnerships is set up. But
No, but
still,
it's wonderful to know now because we
yes,
have time
already.
to work on it.
Yes, you have time
Yes.
to prepare, to think. And I think it's really important when we talk about renovation because of buildings. It's projects that are very operating on a long term, and it needs to be prepared in advance. And there will be a challenge also for the partnership to identify some projects at local level, at district level, that are ready to go, but maybe missing some supports to really go this extra mile, to go this beyond the energy efficiency renovation. So indeed, it's also the reason why we are communicating it so soon. It's because we know that it's a long process to partner at local level to do this construction project.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I think it's now the time to start working on it for sure. And we have with us some of those clusters. I see Jean-Martin that is commenting that we have 22 registered in the ECCP. Jean-Martin, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to listen to, and also congratulations to Giuseppe for already updating the fully 100% the cluster profile. So I put in the chat indeed, when going to the new ECCB website, you can, through the NACI codes, of course, I mean, that's the starting point. There are other starting points also because construction is, of course, so broad and there's much more than just the construction sector. There's also the construction products, very important. But I must say it's very super good to also see already a full profile like the Green Home one, and actually to see and also read, what the cluster offers. So there must be many more because construction is 10% of the European economy. So if you have not fully done that, please do so. It takes a bit of time, but you get a lot of information back. And I think especially as construction offers so many opportunities to link with digital, with green, with circular, with other sectors. So also for construction clusters or clusters interested in construction, trying to link with other activities. I mean, the matching functions are super interesting, really. So a kind reminder to do that. And thank you for the fantastic presentations.
You're very welcome, Jean-Martin. So, Alan Whiteside, are you there? Will you?
Yes, Antonio. Good morning from Scotland. How are you?
Welcome. Fine, welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, it was just really a question with the similar situation across different regions of Europe of needing to modernise existing buildings and in parallel come up with new technologies and new designs for new builds. How do you get that happening in unison across Europe when Green Deal funds only fund a handful of projects with each call?
Good
Maybe
question.
I can take that
Please,
one.
please.
It's I mean, opportunities for renovation are not only under the green deals. You have the cohesion funds, you have even the life elena through the EIB. There is a lot of instruments at EU level, but and one point, there is also another one that is now in development, I would say, is the recovery and resilience facility. And it has been a choice from the council that this facility is in the hands of the member states. And we are now in the process the national plans with the member states in a consultation process with the Commission, and it's happening now. Every day we have these plans, and we are discussing with the member states where the investments should go. I mean, they are in the lead on that. So I think there is also this opportunity at the national level. There will be, as you know, 650 billion euros under this recovery and resilience facility, and Renovate is one of the flagship. So we already know that some countries are putting quite a lot of investment towards renovation of buildings and on social housing too. But that's something that we are discussing, and I think it's also why we're having the partnership on the affordable housing. It's true that it's focusing only on affordable housing and social housing, but it's because we know that there are many opportunities, but that they are unknown very often by the local level. You have all the instruments of the IB, as I was saying, the cohesion funds. We have the LIFE project, the modernization funds now, because the member states, they can also use the ETS. The profits they made from the ETS mechanisms to fund renovation projects. So I think that I know it will never cover the whole renovation wave, and but I think it's already a good basis.
And you are totally right. There are so many opportunities that are not well known, and that we lose for that lack of information.
If I may
Giuseppe,
add, yes, if I may add something on this, the experience of the Italian super bonus, the 110% tax credit, is going in this direction, and it's a very appealing measure for citizens and for companies working in this sector. And with a number of, although requires specific competencies, skills, and the need to put together financial support, technical support, and coordination, which is, let's say, not straightforward to put in place. And so support in this area is probably needed to enlarge the application of the successful application of this measure. We currently are trying to do our job in this direction, but clearly this is another way of supporting renovation, green renovation, let's say.
And that could be a very important field of actions for the clusters, the coordination between all those actors that must be combined. So, do you see, Giuseppe, do you see possible to create pan-European proposals through clusters?
Well, in this topic, in general, the answer is, the short answer is yes. It depends. There are a number, in our experience, we are looking forward to cooperate with other clusters, because this allows us to get a fresh ideas and approach to external markets. And so from our point of view, the point of view of remote region, underdeveloped region, European cooperation among clusters is one of the tools, the leverage for success, for a successful action. And we do pursue this opportunity constantly.
Thank you. So, any last comment from other participants, attendant?
Yeah, Anthony, Alan again. Sorry, I'd like to just build on what Giuseppe was saying there, and my second point in the chat. It'd be good to look at the current cost in housing in terms of things like health and well-being, and for example, in Italy, where it might be to do with the lack of cooling within housing and its effect on people's health and well-being, and with me in Scotland and Adrian in Finland, the opposite in winter, the effects of fuel poverty and things like COPD, and kind of looking at kind of costs of that on society able to kind of build up a good model that will kind of make a business case for modernising buildings instead of dealing with the implications of poor housing stock. We kind of look at this as an opportunity to address these issues.
Well, actually, we're doing a little work on this topic. We have, let's say, a research group, mainly associated with the university, which is working on, I don't know the English word, it's the energy poverty, the poorness related to energy for housing. So cost of energy bills, different solutions to support families that are that have problems in supporting comfortable living conditions related to energy consumption and so on. And they study actually concrete numbers and measures, concrete measures to help families in this respect. So we have a small section on this observatory on our website. We do some information actions, and it might be I'm sure people would be interested to exchange information and cooperate on this topic further.
Thank you. We are out of time, but I see that Claudia Kossel has shared information about their cluster, the Slovenian cluster on smart building initiatives in the chat. So welcome, Claudia. And
yes, hello. Hello, everybody. This is my urgent call to connect with similar clusters as the Green Home is. We are a national cluster operating with 85 members and seeking the opportunities on European funding floor, I would say, to capacitate ourselves with new skills and to capacitate our members. Thank you for now.
they're very welcome. So we have several interesting challenges ahead. We have the opportunity to coordinate important actions at pan-European level. So this is an invitation to continue working, not to stop today, but continue working between you, the cluster related to the building ecosystem and construction ecosystem. And thank you, Ocean, for being here with us today, and Giuseppe and everyone. And we continue working on it. Thank you, and see you soon, I hope.
No, thank you for the opportunity. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Thanks, Antonio.
Au revoir, Isabel. Au revoir.
Bye.
Hello.